Okay, well, it looks like I'm up and running on a live stream. Uh, Kind of a weird time to do it on a Friday, but I found some free time today, and I thought I'd take it, come down and relax by the river, get out in nature a little bit. I haven't been doing that much lately. Unfortunately, I can't go too far because I have to be able to get back in case they need me, but uh, I'm also have a little problem with being this close to the local highway. So it'll be a little bit of background noise, and I apologize for that. Well, first things first, it's kind of interesting that despite all the disagreements by the United States and Israel and the UK, it looks like, and a couple of others, it looks like the UN General Assembly is moving towards a Palestinian state represented in the UN. Now, I'm not sure what to make about that. I don't have a lot of trust in the UN. I've never seen it do anything good anywhere, and I've dealt with them on a number of occasions, having been in the military. However, I think this is kind of an interesting statement. And I thought I'd bring that up because I don't know that it's going to change much, but maybe in the long run, down a few years when things are settled and we need another kind of like Nuremberg trial for what's happened in the U.S. and the Western Europeans for the treatment, talking about the illness that was here back a few years ago, but also Nuremberg for what's going on in that Middle Eastern country that we're not supposed to criticize. That's the first thing I wanted to say, and then I wanted to bring up something that happened. I had a couple of people say to me, Roy, what's this thing about you being so hard on the Jews? And not the Jews generally, but obviously a certain group of them, specifically the Zionists and the State of Israel. And this type of statement will be probably illegal in a little while. That doesn't mean we'll stop, but at any rate, let me explain. They said, you wrote that book, The Crimson Thread. You've studied Judaism and you've studied all these religions, and you were so for the Jews in Judea who were fighting the Romans. What happened? Why have you changed sides? Why is your loyalty different? My loyalty has not changed. Circumstances changed. In the first century, and actually back through the first century BC and even into the second century BC, as most of you know who followed me. See if I can get you some more water here. Judea and Samaria, indeed that whole Palestinian area, was occupied first by the Greeks and then the Romans. So the locals who lived there were living under an occupying government, an occupational government. They fought back. And it was that I said was legitimate. Okay? So they were the ones who were being occupied by first the Greeks, and actually a number of others, but the Greeks and the Romans during the period that we're talking about in the first century BC, first century AD, and onward. Well, now it's changed. The Jews are the occupiers. They'll argue that, saying, oh, this is our country that God gave us back, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. Hey, you guys left on a number of occasions, either by force or by choice. And the people that lived there, they were there. And so they're like you were back in 70 AD. You just lived there in Palestine, and the Roman occupiers came and made war upon you and destroyed over 1 million of you, which is a tragedy, but that's what happened. Well, now it's not that my loyalties have changed. What's changed are the circumstances. Now, the poor locals there who have lived there in peace amongst the Christians, the Muslims, and even the Jews that were there for hundreds, maybe 1,000 years, all of a sudden are being occupied under UN direction. It's partially UN direction, but also because of the Balfour Declaration. And just out of hand, somebody who doesn't even live in Palestine says that, we're going to say it's okay for the Jews to come back. The British did that, of course, if you know what I'm talking about. They didn't even own the place. Oh, they were kind of an occupying power at that point, but they handed their occupation over to the Jews. So it was just like the Greeks being kicked out in about 130 AD or 130 BC or somewhere in there, and the Romans coming in. Well, it's the same thing happened here. The British now get kicked out, and now the Jews are in there, but they're still an occupying power, no matter who says that they have the right to claim the land. So the Palestinians now become those who are being put down by an occupying power. So my loyalties didn't change. The circumstances changed. And that's where this second part of my title for this video comes in, what's in a name? As most of you know, and I've talked about it for a long time, the label on the bottle doesn't mean that the contents have not been changed. The label on the bottle does not necessarily mean that the contents are what it says it are. Okay? Well, that's the same with this situation. You can call yourself anything that you want, but the deciding factor is what you do. So for that reason as well, my loyalties haven't changed. Circumstances have changed. And that's the bottom line. I got to change here a little bit. Sorry. Move this around. So that's the story. I've been arguing with a lot of people on, and I don't mean to get into arguments. It's not a good thing to do, but people just don't understand the level of blindness, bias, stupidity. Going along with the status quo because everybody else is, or most everybody else is. I've never been one of those people. Anybody who knew me in the Army or even on the police department or any other thing that I've done know that, I'll do my job, I'll do the right thing, but you're not going to talk me into doing something that I know is wrong. You're just not going to do it. I don't care how many people are behind it. Okay? So that's what's really happened here, and I'm waving the camera around quite a bit, and I apologize for that. So I just wanted to clear that up, all right? We might do another video. A lot of people, I guess that was pretty heavy last night when I went into that really deep history. Then I had some people, you might have noticed the comment I made, the pinned comment I made in the description box from the video yesterday. A lot of people are saying, well, why didn't you talk about the Schofield situation, about Herzl and all that? Well, because I wanted to show that this is a problem in antiquity. The corruption started then, okay? That was the point. And people usurped a name and then used it for themselves and now play victim all the time, going back. And that brings one more thing to my mind that I'm going to have to go and say. There's all these prophecies and stuff about this terrible Armageddon or apocalypse. Apocalypse is the wrong word, but Armageddon, this destruction that's going to happen into Jerusalem, and that all nations will be joined in battle against Jerusalem there. And they make it sound like it's all the bad nations that are doing it. But if you look at what's happening, especially with this UN thing, it's the nations saying, hey, you guys are evil. What you're doing is wrong. And we're going to stand against you. We don't want to get in a fight because we don't want to start World War III. They might do that in Ukraine. Why do we want to add to that? There are all kinds of political things going on here. Money being transferred, making sure you're getting your dollars from Uncle Sam or whomever. All of that's playing into this, economics and all that. But the bottom line is that you might be misreading the Bible prophecies. And I don't give much stock into eschatology, okay? I don't. I'll talk about it, I'll explain it, I'll get into some what ifs and things like that, but when it comes down to it, cause and effect and just historical facts really play the game. And on this one, Israel has shown that they're a bunch of evil people, plain and simple, and the nations are going to get upset at them, and they're basically warring against them now with this thing at the UN. Hopefully it doesn't get into a shooting fight, but that could still happen. But you see, the point is, they have these prophecies and these scriptures to influence you, to make you think that they're in the right no matter what they do, that no matter what they do, God says it's okay. And that's just not true. Okay, I think I probably pontificated long enough. I'm going to go ahead and go. I just wanted to do this out here while I had a chance and Come out and listen to the river and watch the ducks and the geese and maybe see a few fish. All right. You all take care. We're out here. Bye. Sometimes it doesn't want to turn off.